the world sways. It is the first truth of the riverback clan. A rhythm felt in the bones before a child learns to walk. There it is, the warm, wrinkled hide of old father. The lead ball of the Argentinosaurus herd, a moving mountain of flesh whose gentle, thudding gait is the metronome of their lives. From their perch nestled between the great dorsal spines, the huntress Goya scrapes parasites from a crevice in the living landscape. The creatures, fat and soft, are a welcome protein. This is the core of their symbiosis, this intricate dance of existence. The clan provides a cleaning service, a warning system of two-legged eyes, and in return, the herd provides shelter, transport, and sustenance. It is a unique chapter in hominid history, a life lived on a scale that defies the very ground below. They are a people whose entire culture, their tools, their myths, their future, is carried upon the backs of the greatest dinosaurs to ever walk this ancient earth. It cries shatters the morning calm. It is not the familiar squawk of a pterosaur or the deep bellow of another sauropod. This sound is a razor's edge. The high, serrated shriek that slices through the jungle canopy and travels for miles. Kaya freezes, her flint scraper held tight. Below her, the immense muscles of old Father bunch and quiver. The rhythmic swaying falters, replaced by a tremor of deep-seated dread. The entire herd of 10 living islands stills, their long necks rising like a forest of petrified trees, heads turning toward the sound. The silence that follows is more terrifying than the scream itself. It is a silence heavy with the scent of carrion on the wind. The memory of the last time that cry echoed through these river valleys. That was 3 moons ago, when the pack had taken the young female, dragging her down in a frenzy of tearing muscle and splintering bone. The ground begins to shake with a new, frantic tempo. Panic, it is the clan's greatest fear. More so than any predator, a stampeding Argentinosaurus is a force of nature, an avalanche of flesh that can crush forests and turn rivers to mud. The small, woven huts of hide and bone, lashed precariously to old father's back, begin to grow. An infant wails, its cry thin against the growing chaos. Kaya grips a thick, leathery fold of skin, her knuckles white. She sees the pack now, emerging from the tree line. 6 of them, Giganotosaurus, larger than any tyrannosaur, leaner, built for a marathon of death. They move with a terrifying intelligence, not charging, but fanning out, their massive heads low to the ground. They are not merely hunting, they are herding. Using fear as their primary weapon, they are driving the sauropods toward the cliffs of the Red Gorge, a place where a fall can break even the strongest leg. The giants, for all their size, are creatures of blind instinct, and the pack knows it. The tremors intensify as old father lurches forward. His panic draws a sound of pure despair. The swaying world is now a bucking, uncontrollable catechism, and for the people clinging to its back, the fall is just as deadly as the teeth waiting below. The stampede subsides into a heaving exhaustion. The herd mills in a clearing just shy of the Red Gorge's crumbling edge. Their collective breathing a low, ragged wind. Old father stands apart, his massive frame trembling not with fear, but with pain. A deep gash runs along his flank, a canyon of flesh carved by the teeth of the lead Giganotosaurus. The attack was a feint, a test. The predators did not try for a kill. They left a message written in blood. Their living island is bleeding, and the scent draws every scavenger for miles, a constant, clawing reminder of their vulnerability. This single wound shatters the foundation of their prehistoric life. The mountain can fall, the god can die. The clan gathers near the great, weeping wound, the air thick with the metallic tang of old father's lifeblood. John, the elder whose face is a roadmap of droughts and migrations, runs a hand over a hut's broken support beam. "We move with the dawn," he declares, his voice thin but resolute. "Find a new herd. This one is Mo." Kaya steps forward. "Herd your set." "And what then?" "Old one. The pack will find the next herd. I watch them. They are not beasts of simple hunger. They think, they plan, running is just a slower death. She points a steady, obsidian-tipped spear not at John, but at the jungle that hides their tormentors. They used the river to hide their scent. They drove the weakest of the herd to the left flank to split our eyes. They will do it again. This is the core of her argument, a chilling piece of foresight that silences the murmurs of agreement for John. They are not being hunted. They are being dismantled. The clan faces a choice that cuts to the bone of their existence. Abandon their wounded home and hope for the best, or make a stand on the back of a god who could kill them all with a single, agonized spasm. We fight. Kaya says, her voice low but carrying the weight of conviction. Here, on his back, a wave of disbelief ripples through the small gathering. Fight a pack of Giganotosaurus. It is madness. We are not fleas. She presses, her eyes scanning the faces of her kin. We are the clan of the riverback. This is our world. We will make it a fortress. Her plan unfolds with a desperate, brilliant logic. They will weave nets of vine and sinew, stringing them between the dorsal spines to create traps. They will sharpen the leg bones of a long-dead Allosaurus, crafting lances twice the length of a man. They will wholesale rocks from the riverbed, creating arsenals of crushing weight to be dropped from above. It is a staggering gamble, a new application of their primitive technology born from utter desperation. To fail is to die, to succeed is to change the very nature of what it means to be human. John shakes his head slowly, but the younger hunters, their faces tight with fear and anger, look at the bleeding flank of their world and then at Kaya. In their eyes, a dangerous new hope begins to smolder. This act of potential altruism, to risk their lives for the great beast, is also their only path to survival. The sound of flint striking bone begins to echo across the living mountain, a rhythm of defiance against the coming dawn. The jungle holds its breath. Then, the silence breaks. The pack returns at dusk, using the failing light as a cloak. They emerge not with shrieks, but with a silent, flowing confidence. A pack of the world's most dangerous dinosaurs certain of their kill. Kaya watches from her perch high on Old Father's spine, her knuckles white around her bone-tipped lance. Below, the clan is a scattered constellation of tense figures, each at their post. The woven nets hang like crude spitterbears between the dorsal plates. Piles of heavy shale are balanced precariously on ledges of hardened skin. This is the moment their evolution takes a violent, uncertain turn. The lead Giganotosaurus ignores the tiny figures on the sauropod's back and lunges directly for the wound on Old Father's flank, its jaws gaping to tear and widen the injury. It is a strategically sound, brutally efficient move. Now, Kaya's voice cuts through the air. On her signal, two hunters heave a net. It falls over the predator's head, the thick vines momentarily tangling in its teeth. It's a distraction, nothing more, but it is enough. Old Father bellows in agony as the beast's claws tear at him, and the world lurches violently. From above, John and two others push a pile of shale. The rocks, sharpened by a lifetime of river tides, rain down. Most bounce harmlessly off the predator's thick skull, but one, by sheer luck, finds an eye. The Giganotosaurus shrieks, a sound of incandescent rage, shaking its head and tearing the net to shreds. It rears back, its one good eye fixing on the tiny figures who dared to challenge it. This is no longer a hunt. It is a dinosaur fight, a matter of pride. The battle dissolves into chaos. Another Giganotosaurus attempts to circle around, but is met with a volley of spears from hunters clinging to the giant's tail. Their cooperative hunting skills, once used to bring down triceratops, are now repurposed for a desperate defense. One hunter, a young man named Ren, slips on the blood-slicked hide and falls, his scream swallowed by the pandemonium. There is no time to mourn. The lead predator, enraged, scrambles on to Old Father's lower flank, its immense weight causing the sauropod to groan and stumble. It is moments from reaching the clan. In that instant, John does not hesitate, shouting a final war cry. He leaps from his perch, not at the beast, but onto a section of loose, hanging hide directly in its path. His weight, combined with the predator's momentum, rips the massive flap of skin free. For a horrifying second, John and the Giganotosaurus are suspended in air before they crash to the jungle floor below in a tangle of flesh and snapping bone. The sacrifice breaks the pack's jaw. The lead hunter is crippled, its leg broken. The others, momentarily confused and leaderless, hesitate. It is the opening Hominid. With a guttural scream, she and the remaining hunters hurl their heaviest lances down at the injured leader. A final, desperate volley. The beast collapses, and with its fall, the will of the pack shatters. They turn and melt back into the shadows, leaving their dead. The battle is won. The cost is indelible. The back of their world is now a graveyard, and every survivor is marked by the covenant of scars. The survivors do not celebrate. They tend to the wounded, their own and the deep gashes on their living world. They have stared into the jaws of extinction and spat in its eye. This brutal confrontation marks a turning point in their hominid history. They are no longer just clever animals riding a wave of flesh. They are architects of their own fate, warriors who transformed a gentle giant into a living battleship. This desperate defense, this fusion of survival skills and audacious courage, is the blueprint for something new. It is the first fortress, the first walled city, built not of stone, but of will and bone and a symbiotic promise sealed in blood. Their victory is not just over a pack of predators. It is a victory over their own fear, a declaration that intelligence, when forged in the crucible of community, can challenge the very titans of this prehistoric world. How many such desperate gambles, how many forgotten sacrifices on the bleeding backs of giants, were the true anvils upon which the soul of humanity was shaped. They proved that even in an age of monsters, the most dangerous thing on the planet was a small, fragile creature that had decided, against all logic, to fight back. This has been an alternate prehistory survival chronicle. We listen for the echoes in the bone and find the stories of us. But the greatest shadows are not always cast upon the land.